Yeah, hello YouTube. Now I'd like to discuss today one topic in PureScript Halogen, which is very common for other frameworks as well. And we are looking for an input element like this. And usually the cases where you would like to focus an input element on load directly, which means when the user is entering the page like this, we want the focus already to be in the input element. Now, if you look at the code inside, you will find a property autofocus, which we can set. But even if we set it to true, this is not going to work here in this kind of frameworks like Halogen. And you probably will see the same problem in React or other frameworks which work with the virtual DOM. This autofocus only works when the browser is already rendering everything together at the beginning, and this property is already present, which is not the case in our application. To explain this, we need to have a look at how Halogen works. So I'll show you the code for this example. And basically we have a main element, a main entry point here, where we wait for the body and run the component in this body. So it means we are injecting our application into the DOM, and then it will be re-rendered, synchronized if you want. And if we do it in this way and to try to set the autofocus property to true, at this point when we are rendering our application, the browser has already rendered the HTML page and is not receiving the update for the autofocus property, and it's not reacting properly to this. This is works as intended, and it means for us, for our component, we have to do some extra work. And if we look at this component that I have shown before, so we can start off with an input value. This will be our state, nothing very special about this. And we have two actions, one to update the text and one to initialize. This you will find very often in PureScript Halogen components, which will be executed at the beginning. So when the component is mounted, if you want. The new part that we will need is this input ref. We can put a reference to an input element and name it, let's say input, but this we can choose whatever we want. And we can follow up with the initial state, which is the empty state at the beginning. This is definition of our component. Basically, it is a very simple one. But we have to focus on two things. First, in our render function, we will assign our input ref that we have defined before to our input element. And this is done by hpref and giving it the input ref. So what does it mean if we do it like this? This will enable us to access this element by reference. And this is more or less the same functionality that you will find in React as well, where you have a forward ref or input elements or other elements that you want to refer to. So if we have this input ref set, we can now react to this kind of things in our initialize action. What do I mean by this? We can really go into our HTML and get this reference, this element by reference. So this will be our input element, and in case we will find this input element by the reference, which is of course maybe, because maybe we have a wrong reference here. In this case, we will execute an effect on the HTML element itself with the focus. So we take the element and we focus the element by hand if you want. And this will enable us to have this effect that I've shown you before. So if I reload the page, the user can already start to type in the input field. So what it helps us to avoid this click inside and then starting to write text. And that's it. You can find the code on GitHub. I've put the description and the links below. And if you have some questions, you can leave some comments. And I will see you in the next one.